Hi everyone, it's Manaz here. Um, I had my makeup done, so I need to make a video and take advantage of my face looking relatively decent. Okay, so I'm going to talk today about quite a few things, and this is going to be a longer video. So I really hope that you stick around and hear what I have to share when it comes to reading astrology. So I'm gonna start off by referencing my last video where I identified the sun as representing our father in the birth chart. So the luminaries are our parents, the luminaries being the sun, the father, and the moon is the mother. Now, the moon is also our emotions. It's also our nervous system, and it's very, very tied into the themes of mother and the women who played the mother role in our lives. My moon is in Pisces, and it's in the 6th house, which is the house of service and daily habits and daily routine. 6th house is also the health. It also represents our pets, if you have any pets. For me, it's in Pisces, and the moon is actually conjunct the south node, which is our past life karma that we came into our life with, our present life with. So the moon in Pisces is representative of being extremely sensitive, Pisces being one of the water signs. Whenever the moon is in any of the water signs, being Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, it naturally makes that person extremely sensitive and extremely intuitive at the same time. Now, specifically Pisces, Pisces in Greek mythology is tied to Neptune. It's in modern astrology, it's ruled by the planet Neptune. In traditional astrology, it's ruled by Jupiter. Now, if we take Neptune as our talking point here, Neptune is the god of the ocean. That is literally how deep a Pisces emotions can be, as deep as the emotion, as the ocean, emotions of the ocean. And we feel everything. Pisces moon is different from a Pisces sun. Pisces sun can have a different moon. Their emotionally can be different if their moon sign is in a different zodiac sign. But for a Pisces moon specifically, we absorb emotions like a sponge. We can feel everything. We can, even if things aren't being said, a Pisces moon can just feel it and absorb it. So that's why a Pisces moon must be very, very, very careful of who is in their environment. Because if I'm around depressed people or unhappy people or miserable people, I will automatically start feeling their emotions, and that's actually not good for me. In Pisces being the 6th house as well, this really, really affects my health, my nervous system. Now, let's tie this in a bit further. Let's look at this from another layer. What aspects is the moon making in my chart? Now, previously I spoke about the 3rd house being the house of siblings and the 4th house being the house of the home. It's our family, it is our roots. And my 4th house is in Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn. Saturn is a very, very disciplinarian, very it's the time lord, it's the lord of karma, it's the great teacher. Saturn needs you to learn lessons. If you don't learn those lessons will keep repeating. So what does this have to do with the moon? Why did I start off with the moon? To tie this all together, my moon is in a very, very hard aspect. Hard aspect meaning a square or opposition to Saturn. Now, whenever you see the moon in a hard aspect to the outer planets being Neptune, Saturn, Pluto, or Uranus, this can give you very, very deep insight into your relationship with parental figures. So with Pluto, I've seen when Moon and Pluto are in aspect to each other in a harsh aspect, even a soft aspect, the soft aspect just plays out a little more gentler than the harder aspects. There are themes of power and control around your emotions. When it's in a hard aspect to Uranus, the planet of sudden changes, instability, electric shocks, your feelings, your moon being your emotions, can really suddenly change, like the snap of a finger when it's in an aspect to Uranus. When it's in a hard aspect to Neptune. Now, I previously mentioned how Neptune is very, very like a tricky planet. Things are not what they seem. It's a planet of deception when it's operating at its very like negative way. You see this in charts of children who are raised in high conflict homes. Moon in a hard aspect to Neptune, because that child is hearing negative things about their mother. So this causes confusion in the child in their attitude towards their mother. Now, as that child grows up, they will figure things out, but unfortunately, harm is caused because they are hearing bad things about their mother. Moon in a hard aspect to Saturn can cause a very like strong emotional disconnect with the mother. I have this in my chart. So, my mother does not understand me emotionally. She doesn't get me at all. She's really not interested in understanding me like at all. That is just what it is, but that is how it has played out in my chart and in life. Now, as a result of this, I have spent years chasing after understanding, chasing after validation and acknowledgement as well, and it has never come. So what Saturn needs you to learn here is not just set boundaries, but build that inner seeking that you're looking for, that you're craving as somebody with a moon in a hard aspect to Saturn. Find it within yourself. That is not easy, my friends. That has taken me, I'm at 46 now, that has taken me I still struggle with it, obviously. So, astrology can give you some validation if you're being gaslit that whatever you're feeling and thinking is not real. Now, the moon in conjunction to the south node in the 6th house of service, my role in my family was to serve. And that's it. I have to serve. And I previously discussed how I have very narcissistic siblings. A narcissist must be the center of attention at all time. Narcissists do not have empathy and compassion. And so again, that hard moon Saturn aspect has constantly played out in that I'm, as an empath, as somebody with a very soft and gentle Pisces moon, have always been looking for that acceptance, understanding, compassion, and empathy, and it has never come. And I understand it won't come. So another thing that Saturn will continuously give you hardships until you learn those lessons. Now, the first step in learning those lessons is setting a boundary, in that these continuous acts of service must have boundaries. Now, with me, I love to serve. I can very, very, very easily slip into subservient mode. But that is not beneficial to me. My Saturn will make my life a living hell if I do that. And I have done that. My Saturn will make me so miserable because Saturn needs me to set boundaries. There's nothing wrong with serving. There's really nothing wrong with serving. It can be very rewarding to serve, to be serving. But there must be boundaries. You cannot serve at your own detriment. That's the key. You cannot serve at your own detriment. Now, if you're groomed into that environment, you just have to figure that out as you get older. You must set boundaries. Saturn needs you to set boundaries. Saturn needs you to care about yourself. Now, if you don't do that, the lessons will continue. And, you know, I have tried to set boundaries with certain people, but the problem with me is that I continued it in like friendships with women. So this has been a theme and struggle for me with women in particular, where I have to really I have to suffer over and over and over again until I learn my lesson, which is you must set boundaries, and I must care for myself, and I must not self-sacrifice. Saturn in a hard aspect to the moon. It is constant self-sacrifice. Now Saturn rules my 4th house. So this was a theme in my home environment. Now, where is Saturn placed in my chart? It's placed in my 12th house, which is the house of unconsciousness. It's the house of prison. It's the house of karma as well, but it's the house of isolation as well. And I have, like, people who know me know that I have spent a lot of time completely isolated because of these dynamics that I've been around, until I've taken those steps to deal with Saturn. Now, Saturn is also conjunct my North Node. So my moon is conjunct my South Node. Saturn is conjunct my North Node in the 12th house. Again, this is a theme of service, serving others, and it's in Virgo. I'm going to talk about this. I know this must sound like mumbo jumbo to people who don't understand, but I really hope that I can give some sort of clarity and guidance as to how you can use your chart to help you. Saturn in the 12th house is in Virgo again. So Pisces moon opposite Saturn Virgo. I need to serve. This is another theme of service. Virgo is all about service, but you know, I have really struggled because Virgo is very, very self-critical, very, very critical. And in the 12th house, that criticism is towards myself. Anybody who knows me knows that I really, really struggled in my teenage years. Basically like preteen to like 40, basically until after my Saturn return, well into how things that happened in my life. I really, really struggled with themes around self-esteem, self-care, self-love, and continuously serving, continuously looking for that love, empathy, compassion, and not getting it. No matter what I do, it doesn't come, right? So I'm at a point where I understand now. Saturn has helped me understand that I really cannot be around people who do not have empathy and compassion. I cannot be around anyone who has no empathy and no compassion. I just can't. Now, the Saturn and the moon. Now, Saturn rules my 4th house. I was talking about the 4th house of the home. It's squaring Venus as well. So this adds another layer of tough lessons that I had to go through to develop myself. Saturn in a hard aspect to Venus and the moon, it really blocks that feeling of love. it really, really blocks it. It makes it very much harder to attain. So again, I'm getting that lesson again that I have to develop that love from within myself and surround myself with people who have empathy and compassion. People who don't have empathy and compassion, people who are selfish, people who are narcissists, people who gaslight, I cannot be around them. I can't be around them. And unfortunately, in this case, it also means giving up anybody who's associated with those people. I just can't be around them. I can't be around them. Because with Moon in a hard aspect to Saturn and Venus, it means that my health gets really, really impacted. Really impacted. The Moon is in my 6th house of health, and it's not doing very well. Like, it's getting beaten up quite badly. So when you have Moon in a hard aspect to the outer planets, first look at what areas of the chart are ruled by those outer planets. In my case, Saturn rules my 4th house of the home, and the 5th house of dating and fun and hobbies, and like that was restricted for me as well by the maternal themes, the maternal people in my life. So, you know, you have to really, when you have that going on in your chart, with Saturn ruling your 4th house, you have to grow up really, really fast. And you grow up basically in isolation, because 12th house for the Saturn for me is in the 12th house, and it's very isolating. This is a part of me that people really don't understand, but my astrology, my chart just completely validates my entire life experience that I've had so far. Astrology can give you so much validation and so much insight into your life experiences. Now, Saturn, being the ruler of my 4th house, it transits our zodiac sign usually 2 times in our lifetime, maybe 3 if we live until we're like 90. The first Saturn return, it means Saturn has moved around the entire zodiac and it's come back to the point where Saturn was in your birth chart. That is called the Saturn return. That happens to people around, everybody goes through this. Age 27 to 30, maybe like, yeah, age 27 to 30 is when you feel it. Now, because Saturn rules my 4th house, Saturn transited and was back at its original spot. That means those themes, 4th house, were really, really activated. It's when my father died. Pluto was also about to go into my 4th house. So my 4th house of the home was imploding during that age. My home life, and it started with when my father died. And it coincided with my Saturn return and Pluto going into my 4th house. So what I just now spoke about are transits. So the planets are in motion, and we have to look at where they are in motion in comparison to our birth chart. Now, Saturn just finished its transit in the 6th house of Pisces. My 6th house of Pisces. So wherever you have Pisces in your birth chart is where Saturn has been transiting. If you had any personal planets, being Venus, Mars, Mercury, Sun, or the Moon in Pisces over the last 3 years, you really, really felt it. You really felt it. For me, it was the Moon. So and this started in March in 2023. So anybody who knows what's been going on in my life since 2023 knows that these themes have been very, very active, because Saturn has been on top of my Moon, amplifying the Saturn Moon opposition. And it just went into Aries, and now Saturn is doing a retrograde back into Pisces up until February. So we're revisiting those themes. I just spoke a lot, and I really, really hope that this made some sense. I really hope that you are able to look at your chart and decipher what is happening for you. I think that is so important for everybody who has children to also look at their chart to see where Saturn is, see where the moon is, see what's going on, just so you can support, you know how to support your children. And you know what? Your kids are gonna go through their own transits. If you know what's going on as a parent, you can better handle your child and support them through whatever they're going through. Or you can understand, don't take it personally as well, whatever they're going through, which is hard, obviously. But not everybody has those type of parents who have that willingness to learn and care. I know like everything like that shows in the chart, but if you have that level of interest, then please do look at your child's chart. Please do try to understand their moon placement so that you can feel connected to your child emotionally and so that you understand your kid emotionally as well. I'm gonna leave it there. I hope that makes sense, and until next time I'm going to talk some more about transits, because there's some intense transits going on right now, and yeah, it would just be good to talk about it.